We did an expo in St. George, Utah for my sister wife's closet, and it just didn't go well. You know, we really hoped it would go a lot better. Right now we realize that in order to get into these houses, you know, which is the big, huge goal that we're looking forward to, because no one likes being in the rentals where we are now. You know, we know that we need all these different streams of income, and so, you know, we're working on real estate, we have the marketing business, we have my sister wife's closet.
So, I mean, guys, it's really not, it's not viable, I don't think.
But we just started it.
It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. I have been going back in time and watching all of the old episodes of Sister Wives. And I don't know, I think I'm on like season 6 now. It's taken me a while. Actually, I just finished watching Bad Vegan on Netflix. Whoa, that was quite the wild ride. And I was like, is this real? Did she really? Oh, wow. You need to watch Bad Vegan. I don't know if you'll believe it or not, but the story is wild. It's about this woman that was a chef, and it's this tale of how this man who became her husband made her believe all these things, and then she ended up getting in a lot of trouble, and her restaurant got closed, and she went away for about a year and a half because of money that she took from investors. Wild ride. Watch Bad Vegan. But Bad Vegan kind of reminds me of how people can get easily fooled and roped into belief systems that maybe aren't the most logical, practical, or even nice for humans like women or themselves. And we all know that Janelle Brown did not actually come from the world of polygamy, but somehow decided that this was her calling. And she decided when she was, I don't know, after she had divorced her Mary's brother. Yeah, she was married to Mary's brother for like a year, I believe, or a year or two. She's always been very, very vague about this relationship. And then she was friends with Mary and Cody, and then became Cody's second wife. And then Christine followed suit shortly thereafter. So they were like this super, like, not very loving family of four adults, because there was a lot of challenges. And, you know, Mr. Payton made the remarks that the marriage between his parents was never great, and Robyn didn't ruin anything. She actually exposed what was wrong in the family to begin with. I noticed from the very beginning that Janelle and Robyn had a very strained relationship, and I did this video a couple months ago where I talked about why they would never be friends. So Janelle didn't like that Robyn was very needy, that she played the damsel in distress, acted like a princess, demanded so much of Cody's time and energy, and wanted Cody to be like in the hero position. And she also was stressed out that Robyn didn't want to have a job or didn't want to work or whatever it was. And then taking in 3 children along with Robyn and all of the money, the problems they were having at the time. And then Robyn got a little bit sassy with Maddie, and just overall the older kids did not take very well to Robyn and the way that Robyn decided to parent. Very different strategies in parenting. So when it comes to this video or this episode that I was watching, I was actually super shocked. So when they were first in Vegas, they were building all of their houses, and Robyn had made the decision that she was going to launch My Sister Wives Closet, which was supposed to be like a jewelry line that honored all of them as sister wives. Obviously, the company did not do very well. I don't think there's a huge market for polygamy jewelry, and the jewelry seemed to be pretty specific to being sister wives. And the family got a lot of pushback, or gave Robyn a lot of pushback, about whether or not they wanted to be involved in a company of selling jewelry. Now, what I think is interesting is that during the time that Robyn decided that she wanted to launch her jewelry business, Janelle wanted to launch a gym business, which got completely sidelined by Robyn's jewelry business. Janelle was never super into this idea that the jewelry business was going to be anything more than a hobby or a side project or something that you do just for a little bit of extra income. And there was an episode where they went and they did a whole trade show, and they went to a show to sell the jewelry, and for 2 days they were there and apparently only sold like $500 worth of jewelry. So they're all sitting down together, and this is in the same episode where, by the way, Janelle is telling them that she is so like glad to be taking care of herself. She's feeling like she'd lost about 30 pounds at this point. She was going to a trainer. She was taking her health and her like making herself a priority. And for the first time thinking about herself after years of worrying about the whole family. And they were living relatively independently in separate houses, not next to each other. This is right before they all finish their houses and move into the cul-de-sac. Well, they sit down during this like conversation, and Robyn is trying to like convince everyone that the Sister Wives Closet is actually a good plan forward because she thinks that it's going to make them money. They find out after the numbers that they only made $500 for the 2 days of work, and they had 5 of them working all day for 2 days, which Janelle made the point of saying that, you know, if you want to rely on this for a stable income, it's not going to be it. There's no money in this. We're not making enough money. And she said she saw it as a side business.
Which, when you're paying all of us to be there for 2 days straight, is pretty crappy. I couldn't pay my mortgage on that. So, I mean, guys, it's really not, it's not viable, I don't think.
A side business or like a hobby business, but she couldn't see herself investing her future and her time and her energy into a business that she didn't feel was fruitful enough from an income standpoint.
You're saying that the business is not viable when I don't feel like that you're invested in it. I don't feel like you're doing anything for it.
Christine felt the exact same way, but Robyn went after Janelle, and I was so agitated when I saw this interaction because she literally said to Janelle, well, what about the plus line, the Holy Wear plus, or the Sister Wives plus line?
But I have been begging you to do the plus size holy line because it's something that is your niche. You want these pieces. I know you do.
See, I just don't know.
Plus clothing line, or the plus jewelry line that she wanted to do, the holy line. Making a point to point out to Janelle, you want to make clothes for plus size women in the same episode where Janelle is like working so hard to lose weight, to feel better about herself. And Robyn's like, but you want to do the plus size stuff. And I'm all like, did Robyn literally just do that? Did she just like indirectly point out her weight of her sister wives and use that to manipulate her to try to make her realize that she should be doing this because she wants the plus line clothing line? It's like the right thing to do. And Janelle like didn't really respond, but sort of was just like, no, I just really don't see this going anywhere. And again, mind you, she had just lost 30 pounds and was like trying to get back into like feeling good about herself, and admitted that she had just not been taking care of herself for years. So it kind of, to me, felt like a huge slap in the face, right? And I noticed that Robyn did this a lot when she was trying to launch her business. When Mary made the decision that she wanted to go back to school, instead of supporting Mary, she said that she was worried that Mary wouldn't have the time to dedicate to being there for her and to also helping her with Sister Wives Closet. So whenever the ladies wanted to do something for themselves, Robyn came back and was like, well, what about Sister Wives Closet? What about me? What about me? So she's trying to like get Mary to not go back to college, which, by the way, Mary did not go back to college. And she's like shaming Janelle by pointing out her weight indirectly by saying, you wanted to launch the plus line clothing line, which, by the way, that clothing line literally was not a topic of conversation at any point in the discussions when they were talking about this business. It was like Robyn threw this out like a dagger out of nowhere. And I started to wonder, like, how frequently do you think comments like that came out of Robyn's mouth in like to other sister wives, which made them feel like not safe to be around her? Because Janelle had said repeatedly that there was history between the two of them, that made it so that she didn't want to go there anymore. If you were Janelle in that situation, do you really want to be around someone like Robyn, who, when she's trying to convince you to still do a wedding, be a part of the business, she's pointing out your size? That's like the worst friend. That's legitimately the worst friend to have. I would not want a friend like Robyn. No woman should ever be shaming someone else's size. No one should be pointing out that plus size. She didn't even have to add the plus size. She could have just said clothing, but instead said plus line. Oh, Robyn, such a meanie head. So no, they're not going to be friends. And I wouldn't want to be friends with Robyn either if she put that in my face. Oh, Robyn. No wonder Peyton said that like none of the older kids like Robyn. I wonder what else she says to them. She wanted Maddie to be a polygamist or stay in the faith and didn't want Maddie to like deviate from what she wanted, pointing out Janelle's flaws. Meanwhile, she wasn't contributing money and was taking tons of money from the family that they could have been using to invest in their houses and into other businesses or for college for their kids. My opinion is that Robyn is selfish. I know I go vacillating back and forth on this, but that's my latest. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.